G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time between drinks, but I really appreciate you guys hanging in there. I'm going to bring you something completely different today. I want to share with you one of my other interests and hobbies, which I absolutely love and am passionate about. I've brought the rig along, but this is actually as far as the rig is going to go today. I cannot drive it any further. I'm going to grab my gear and I'm going to start heading in there, and I'm going to be spending 3 nights just in the bush, and I haven't bought any food, any water, shelter. It's all just going to be me trying to find my way to get by and come along for the journey. It's going to be great. Okay, so I've just come across what I think is certainly the flattest piece of ground I can find in this area. One thing I learned pretty quickly was that it's pretty hilly. The only issue I have is this big gum tree right behind me and all the overhanging branches. There's definitely a deadfall risk here. So even though it looks pretty fantastic on the surface, I think I've got too much of a threat overhead, so I'm going to have to keep looking. Well, I'm about an hour and 5 minutes in, and I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling a little bit to find a shelter or a suitable place for a shelter. Found this nice little clearing here, which I thought would be great. But again, it's just too much sort of deadfall threat, which is a challenge in Australia, isn't it? We've got all these gum trees, which are affectionately known as widow makers. So this is the thing, now it's getting to the point where it's getting pretty hot. Forecast is about 27 degrees Celsius today. I don't have any water, and I'm sweating a fair bit already, so it's that risk versus reward. I may just have to find the least risky spot and go there. Probably look for another 15-20 minutes, and then I think I'll just have to make a decision. Okay, I think this is definitely the spot. There's a bit of a natural clearing here, and I think it actually looks like a little bit of a game trail running straight down through here, which I'll say is probably just kangaroos, because I have seen 2 or 3 kangaroos already this morning, but that's fine. I'm not worried about that. I'll use a couple of these little trees, I think, just to put a ridge pole up and make a little lean-to shelter, and I'm pretty happy with this. Definitely no overhead risk. The ground's pretty clear apart from sticks and debris, which I'll get rid of. Plenty of room for a shelter and a little fire. It's on a pretty big slope, so I'm just going to have to sleep downhill. But yeah, I think this is the spot. Let's do it. I'm going to keep as much of this leaf debris as I can close by, because I'll probably find later on that I stack that on top of my shelter just for a bit more protection. So I'm just going to toss this down a little bit, because yeah, I'll probably end up coming back to this. So that's my ridgepole, very, very basic. What I'm trying to do is utilize what's already there for me. So there's a couple of notches in the trees, so it's easy to tie off. I'm happy with that lean. I've got a bit more room up one end, but you know, I'll be laying down, feet will be up this end. I'll probably have a fire up here, somewhere to put my backpack under. Yeah, and it's solid as, not going anywhere. It's definitely right about this being a game trail. I just put my saw down right into this wallaby shat. It's literally my camp there. Didn't see that until I just dropped my saw in it. Perfect. All right, I've been at my shelter for the best part of probably an hour and a half now. It's probably taking a bit longer than I want it to, but big reason for that is I'm just not cutting down any live trees. I'm on a friend's large bush property here, and I told him that I wouldn't go cutting down any trees. I would just use dead trees. So I'm making sure that I scavenge around and look for as many dead limbs as I can possibly find. I haven't got too much to go now. It's starting to get pretty hot. It's 11:30 now. It's about 25 degrees Celsius. Sun's just starting to come through the canopy. So hopefully only about another 30 minutes on this, and then I'll start covering it over, which is a bit lighter work. I'll just grab a bunch of leaves and bark and whatnot. And then I'll definitely need to start looking at getting some water from the nearest water source I can find and boiling that up so I've got something to drink. But so far so good, having fun. It's probably a good time to mention as well, I do actually have a tarp, but I have really good weather forecast for the next few days. So I'm not overly concerned about rain protection. This is just really a bit of a something to keep behind me and to reflect the heat from the fire if it gets a bit cooler later on. But yeah, certainly not worried about rain at this stage. I just want to get a basic sort of wall behind me, which are pretty well done. So I'm going to start focusing on fire and water in a moment. Okay, this is probably the part I've been most nervous about all day, is lighting a fire, because I'm in Queensland here and we've had so much rain over the last few months. Everything's pretty wet. I've tried to find as much sort of fine dry stuff as I can, but even all the twigs and that I've got are pretty damp. So we'll see how I go, but definitely need some water now, so I've got to get a fire going and get that situation sorted as well. There's a bunch of mozzies starting to come out now, so the fire will definitely help with that. Let's see how we go. So there you go. Wasn't expecting that. Careful not to smother this now. Everything's so damp. While I'm waiting for some water to boil, I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you what I've brought with me and why. I meant to do this at the start, but completely forgot. I got carried away with finding somewhere for a shelter. But basically, I've brought 10 items with me, which is from the equipment list that you can choose for the show alone. I love that show. I would call myself a student of that show. I've watched it religiously from day one. I've watched every season, every episode from all the countries 2 or 3 times. Absolutely love it. So this is the gear list that I would take on the show. And here it is. So first things first, I would take a knife, hunting knife. I love this one because it's super heavy duty. It's rock solid. You can hit that and bash that all day. That's from Davila. Love that knife. I've also got a hatchet. Now you may wonder why I've gone with 2 blades. I guess I looked through the list and I couldn't find a 10th item that I wanted, so I thought I'll just take the hatchet as well. I've got the Ferro rod, fishing line and 10 hooks. I've got a saw as well, so again it's a 3rd blade option, but I think this is super handy when it comes to building the shelter. I've got a cooking pot as one of my options, just a cast iron 2-quart cooking pot. I have paracord, so you can take 80 meters of paracord, so I chose that as one of my items. I would take a tarp. I'm not using that on this trip because the weather's going to be fine. It's not cold, it's not windy, so I don't need to set it up. But I would take a tarp with me as well. A sleeping bag, and of course the drink bottle that's in the fire. So that should be 10 items, I think. What I've also got with me, and which the contestants would have on the show anyway, is the backpack, first aid kit. I've got a snake bite kit with me as well. and a big jacket. Obviously you can take 2 sets of clothing on that show, and a jacket is one of those items. So that's it, guys. There's nothing else in my bag. That's empty now. But yeah, so I think that's the list that I would take if I was going on the show. You can leave a message in the comments, let me know what you would take. But yeah, I reckon from everything I've seen and watched, that's what I would go with. If it's in Australia, if we had snare wire, trapping wire, I would take that, but that's not an option on the Australian list. So of course, if we were allowed bow hunting, I would take a bow instead of the hatchet. So the hatchet's my 10th item. I would drop out that for either a bow or snare wire. Okay, so I got my water boiled. Just move that away from the fire to try and let it cool down. There's a little bit of sediment in there, but that'll be fine to drink now. It's just going to take a little while to cool down because that's still even quite hot to touch. But I know I've got some nice clean drinking water now. So check this out. Quick little scratch around in the ground, and got a few worms, which is great because I'll be able to use them as bait to try and catch a fish. There's a creek about 1 kilometre from here, so I think it's a bit late in the afternoon now, but tomorrow morning I reckon I'll get up and try and go for a fish, see if I can catch some food. I'm fine today. To be honest, not even feeling hungry really. But see how I wake up in the morning. Might see if I can catch some fish. I'm giving myself some confidence that I'm going to catch a fish tomorrow, so just making a little set of tongs to eat with. Super basic, but it'll do the trick. Now that camp's set up, I've got my water sorted, fire's going well. I've got some worms to try and catch some fish tomorrow. I'm just going to sit back and relax and enjoy nature's television and have myself a glass or two of sheepdog. Cheers. There's a big kangaroo bouncing along just behind my shelter. I was hoping he would Hoping he would come through while I was filming, but he's gone still. I'm assuming it's a kangaroo. It sounds like a kangaroo hopping along. Yeah, no, he's obviously listening to me. Alright guys, that's about a wrap from me for today. Just laying in bed now under my shelter. Fire's still cruising along, but that'll go out shortly. So yeah, hunker in for a night's sleep. I'll see you guys in the morning.